So much has changed in English rugby recently that it's perhaps reassuring that the last championship of the century, indeed the millennium, was won by a team with all the old virtues.
Leicester Tigers are all about power and strength. Furiously competitive, they boast a large, multi-talented squad, and they enjoy unstinting support from their loyal fans. So relentless was their progress to the Premiership title that it's easy to overlook the many problems that Leicester faced.
For a large part of the season, we had no Austin Healey, no Joel Stransky, no Will Greenwood, no Stuart Potter. You know, four pretty influential backs, and other guys, as I've said before, came in and played extremely well in those positions to enable us to keep winning. But you know, not perhaps totally in the style that we might have aspired to.
The majority of their pack also served England mightily throughout a long, sapping international season of 8 test matches. Fatigue, mental and physical, was never far away, but Leicester never faltered.
No one speaks about it, but when guys come back, yeah, if they're a little bit tired, then occasionally, you know, John would be a bit easy on us in training in the week, but when it comes to playing the match, then, you know, you go out there and you give everything you've got.
Doubts over the English club's participation in Europe saw the Ally Dunbar Premiership season start amid some confusion, with confirmed fixtures for the first 5 weeks only. The owners of Richmond and the defending champions Newcastle were already warning that their financial backing might be curtailed, sooner rather than later.
Leicester, however, had spent their money wisely. In came fullback Tim Stimpson from Newcastle, blockbusting Canadian wing Dave Lockheed, and classy Australian utility back Pat Howard. After a hard pre-season, Leicester were more than ready for their first game and the visit of Zinzan Brooks' Harlequins. 7 unanswered tries to Dean Richards' men, including 2 from Leon Lloyd.
It's probably the hardest pre-season the boys have had for a while, but also probably calculated, probably a bit better for the boys to be primed for the first few games of the season. Everybody looked at the squad that we've got, and our aim should be to win every game that we played in. We did that, and also with the defensive organisation coming in, we decided that, you know, if we improved our defence to a degree whereby we could limit people to one try a game, then we should have a very good chance of either winning the league or getting very close to it.
We had no preconceptions. We believed that we didn't have as good a season the year before as we would have liked, and we went out with an attitude just to play as well as we could. And to be fair, at the start of the season when it was dry, we were quite expansive, and I think it caught a few teams by surprise.
We played very well at the start of the season. You know, I think we conceded very few tries. We scored a lot of tries and scored a lot of points. Yeah, we didn't have didn't do anything particularly different in pre-season. We had a good pre-season. I think the boys were very fit, but yeah, I think we were just dying to come out and play.
And this is the kind of match they must make an impact in if Tim Rodber's team is to take the step into the group of trophy winners. Here come Rodber and his men.
But how the Saints would love to have the likes of Mendes and Lamb playing. They're going to take Leicester on up front. Rodber was in his best and biggest hitting mood against Quins. Expect a very physical effort from the Northampton 8.
And also expect a very big cheer for this team. There's a good feeling here at Welford Road. New signings Stimpson and Howard are looking the part. The wingers getting plenty of ball. Stransky and Healey in control, and of course the pack already in the groove. News that they want to shout from the rooftops here in Leicester. And they do it with some volume. A great opportunity to find a safe touch and build from there, but now Northampton desperately hanging on to try and keep it at 0-0, but for how long? Stransky's long pass, Potter, it's going to be a try now, surely for Ezaliki it is, he's done it again, 3rd try of the season, can't stop scoring in his first Premiership season, Nnamdi Ezaliki, and to say that was coming would be a gross understatement.
Wonderful play from their midfield backs again.
Grayson. Stimpson. Proving himself to be quite a favourite here. He's even through the high tackle. What a run! Austin Healy to finish. That one's given. Northampton continue to ship water. Here's Howard. But they've got a pretty big hole in their bucket. Here's Stransky. Stimpson again, he's through. Cuts them apart. Oh, yes. Well, do you think he's pleased? He's signed for Leicester.
What a vintage minute for Stimpson.
Corey digs it out. And it's Howard. Good little jink away from the first man. And Pat Howard swivels for the line. And then it's Cockrell. Hamilton. Stransky. Potter. Good defence from Northampton, but how long can they hold out? Remember, in the first half it was just a matter of time in a similar situation. And the clock has beaten Northampton again. Neil back. Makes it try number 4 for Leicester. And they're almost out of sight now at 30-12 in front.
Leicester set the situation up, worked through, looked for the gap, and then with Cockrell driving him over, it's a score for back. Good work from the Tigers pack.
This is trying to take it from 15 to 18, and he has. Johnson, good pick up off the floor, but Jelly stood in his way. Dontiak, Seeley. This is Grant Seeley, broken one tackle, and Budge Poutney is on hand to go through for Northampton's first try, and the first try that Leicester have conceded in the Premiership this season, right at the end of their third match. Learning the distinct rules that belong to the forwards. Joel Stransky, but no, they don't get the try, but they do get the win. Leicester, top of the table this evening, played 3-1-3. The only try that they've conceded in those matches right at the end to Northampton, and the result here this afternoon, never in doubt.
Well, I think it's fair to say it was a fiery local derby. I think it's also fair to say we'd probably have enjoyed the first 25 minutes, and then we'd probably be a bit disappointed with the rest of the game. I think we took our foot off the pedal. We made a few mistakes. We left the basics behind a little, let them back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's the story of our season on the 2 away games this year. Certainly Saracens, we had 20 minutes where we conceded 20 points. We did the same again this week. You know, as a captain, I shouldn't have thrown that ball which I gave for the first try, which was sloppy. But I was pleased the boys dogged it out. You know, we defended well for the last sort of half an hour and scored a good try. Just a shame, you know, you can't play the game with 14 men for 20 minutes in the second half.
Leicester arrived at Goldington Road to find a Bedford side determined to ignore the financial worries and focus on the job in hand.
Well, I mean, we started off with a really strong squad, and then at the start of the season we started having money problems and just one thing after another, and I think 8 to 10 players left at the start of the season, which sort of weakened our squad, and then due to injuries as well, we've not had the best runs.
It was Leicester who struck first. Ezuliki sprinted past Rory Underwood for the first try. Stuart Potter added a second. But Murdoch hacked on after an uncharacteristic mistake by Tim Stimpson to lead Bedford's fight back. Leicester ran out 32-23 winners to end the month of September, having played 4, won 4.
Even though we did get beaten the Leicester game at Bedford, I got man of the match, which is quite good. I was up against Martin Johnston, which is always good to get man of the match when you're playing against him.
Leicester faltered in October, losing twice, firstly away to Saracens. Gavin Johnson dominated the scoring with a conversion and 3 penalties.
The Saracens game, I was astonished because I never sort of believe anything's there until you won the thing. But at half time, I thought that we took control of the Saracens game just towards the end of the first half, scored a good try, and I thought we were going to go away in the second half, and in fact it was a complete reversal. I think if you look at London Irish, again, midweek game away from home. I think midweek games away from home are always tricky for any team. And we went into London Irish, we lost with a sort of last-minute drop goal, so that was a pretty close affair. We had a couple of injuries in the game, but you know, London Irish at that stage were starting to become a good team.
The Irish struck first, a move straight off the training ground, inevitably Conor O'Shea timing his run to perfection. Leicester needed a quick response, and it couldn't have come much quicker. They replied immediately through Leon Lloyd, 6.9 seconds from restart to touching down. Leicester ahead 13-10 at the interval, until a midfield break from London Irish led to some dubious Leicester defending out wide. O'Kelly stretched out an arm for a try. Or was it? Steve Lander wasn't sure, but the touch judge had no doubts. Austin Healy looked to have sealed the game for the Tigers, showing raw speed to exploit the gap. Two minutes to go, then up stepped Conor O'Shea yet again. On into November, and Leicester regained their position at the top of the Allied Dunbar Premiership by winning at West Hartlepool. Going into this game, the Tigers needed to win by at least 10 points to overtake Bath. Thanks mainly to the work of Joel Stransky, this target was achieved with ease. This then set up a terrific top-of-the-table clash against Bath at Welford Road.
And after so many home games, do Bath have a false league position? That's the accusation that's been thrown at them, and they can throw it all the way back with victory today.
Well, I can tell you, of all venues in England, this is where Bath love to win the most. The sheer hostility of the home crowd lifts people like Guscott, but it also inspires his teammates. Bath will not lose today for want of effort, that's for sure.
Yes, and it's Stransky against Cat at fly half. We talk about battles, that's right up there. Crucial to the course of the match.
Yeah, two packs will try and drive the team forward, but it's the decision-making that could matter today.
And this is the one that the Leicester fans want. You can tell them it's just about 2 points like any other, but that won't wash. There's a meaning to this match, and there has been for well over a decade now. Just listen to the roar.
Great atmosphere. You know, for a decade, Bath were the team who knocked Leicester from the top of the tree. Leicester were the team after Bath supremacy, and so this fierce rivalry was born.
Healy and Stransky, chance here, Greenwood! First try for Leicester, and the early pressure tells on Bath. Will Greenwood back into action. (5-0). It's Cockrell to throw. A yellow card in this fixture last season, Cockrell. Not a shocking fact. And that Leicester pack is looking so strong, isn't it?
So organised as well, and very determined. Great ball for Healy again.
Greenwood over and not the crash ball and through. Neil Back is with him. Desperate tackle from Redmond. It's with Healy, and there are plenty of men if it comes. Oh, that's neat from Greenwood. He took that brilliantly. Oh, what a try. What a score from Greenwood. He is back now. That's 2 for him.
That is a wonderful try for Leicester. The running lines were almost poetic there. Stransky and over end. Wonderful. Greenwood with a little ball, over end, lovely line, and Neil Back, he's always there, isn't he? No support, so he goes to ground, it's laid back, and look at this from Greenwood. Lovely chip, great vision. Muscles Gus got out of the way. Left hand. Yes, thank you very much. 2 for Greenwood. As you said, Miles, he is back. What a start for the Tigers.
Stransky's caught that well. Very well. 14-0. You know, the scoreboard already had the 2 points up before the kick. They're confident here. Remember, in this game last season, it was the Serevi test, wasn't it, at scrum half? A day that Leicester dropped the test tube.
Well, I thought I was in Suva that day. This feels a bit more like the East Midlands, but there's some pretty exotic stuff from the Leicester backs at the moment.
Didn't take long for Healy to move back, and this is Lloyd to Stransky, breaks for him, inside Greenwood, back, and on to Overend. Oh, they've done it again! This is something special from Leicester. They're carving Bath apart. Give them a chance today and they will most definitely take it.
Well, it came from a lovely kick from Healy, the error from Adebayo, but then the quality of the passing, magnificent. Here's the box ball and here's the chink, the error coming up. Adebayo misses it, but watch what you see now. Lloyd, watch the quality of the passing. Stransky doesn't have the pace, nor does Back. It's a lovely ball. Greenwood the pop, and watch Neil Back's floated ball over end. Yes.
And Hatley back on his feet at scrum half. Cat thrown long to Guscott, and Guscott does get Bath a score. As if to say, this is not over yet. Healy has a quick look, assesses what's on. Gustard's going like a sprinter, and it's going to fall for him! Gustard! The arm is raised, and if ever a player deserved a try, it is Paul Gustard. Healy, Stransky, and Joel Stransky must score! All over now! Leicester have won, Bath beaten, Leicester to go 2 points clear, and Welford Road knows it.
It's the Stransky cameo. When the curtain's about to descend, Stransky steps up centre stage and he rubs in the salt.
Leicester, missing as many as 15 players in an international week, understandably failed to repeat their good form, falling to their 3rd defeat of the season at Wasps.
The Wasps game, we had a fair few players out, and I was sitting on the bench myself that day. That was during November, and we had a lot of the test players out. I had a broken jaw at the time. That was a game that we didn't field a strong side. I don't think we're overly confident, and we paid the price against a very good team.
Leicester continued to pick up points in the new year, winning at home to London Scottish. Another of the successful Leicester imports, Fritz van Heerden, grabbing 2 tries.
I think Fritz has been exceptional really all year. His line-out work and his play around the field, he's been brilliant. He's a good guy, fits in. Doesn't say a great deal, but does all the hard work and has got a lot of respect for the players.
Leicester's next match at home to Gloucester saw 2 tries for Canadian Dave Lockheed. But the game that the team looked back on with exceptional pleasure was the midweek match at Richmond.
Yes, Richmond was a midweek game. You know, Richmond a very difficult physical side. We'd gone down last season midweek and lost very heavily at the athletic ground. It was an important time of the season, and it was a big game to win. And they went down to the Majeski Stadium and put in a very committed performance. But it was a game that needed to be won, and they geared themselves into it. They went down and, as you might say, professionally did a job.
Favourite games, I think the big one that sticks in my mind was Richmond away in the league midweek. That was it was a hell of a game. The weather was poor. There's question marks where the game was going to be played, and Richmond you know, they had a great day, had a lot of ball, and they just threw everything at us, and it needed a massive team effort in terms of defence and in terms of guts and determination. So I think that win there epitomises the Leicester determination to win.
Yeah, I think Richmond game was a good one for us because we'd you know, not always been great away from home against the big teams. You know, to win away from home in the league was important. It was a wet Tuesday night at Richmond. It was a game you could easily have let our attitude slip for, and it was a great buzz. I mean, it was one of the biggest buzzes of the season to win down there. Although, you know, maybe it doesn't sound like it would be them being mid-table now, but it was a real good game. We enjoyed it on Majeski's pitch. It was very fast, and in January, February when the game was, it's difficult to find a fast pitch, so it was good fun. I scored a try, which is unusual, and we had a massive defensive effort. They were camped on our line for, you know, a couple of 5-10 minute spells, and we kept them out until right at the end, and they scored, and then we scored straight back to, you know, to win the game. So that was a real big buzz.
You know, we're talking about it, both John Walls and I sit down and we're talking about the highs and the lows and the different pleasures you get from being a player and being a manager. And we get a totally different pleasure from being a manager or coach to being a player. And when some of the boys get highs from certain games, we probably don't. We sit down and say, well, you know, there's certain areas which we've certainly got to look at next week in training. And it is quite a strange situation, actually. That was an extremely hard game, and you know, see the boys delighted, the players delighted as they came off the pitch having won that game. I think it was lovely.
Saints were now 6 points behind, but with a game in hand. It was a must-win situation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you play Leicester as Northampton, it's a local rivalry. You know, they're 30 miles away. We're all good friends, but we also have the best of enemies, and it makes for great occasions. You know, it's a sellout up there and a sellout down here, and certainly both games live up to that reputation. It's a shame we didn't play very well.
It is make, possibly, break, certainly, should they win or lose today. Tim Rodber, Johnson's second row partner with England, is the Northampton skipper, of course. And there's a real sense of determination about that walk, and just listen to the roar when they emerge here at Franklin's Gardens.
And then came the Northampton away game, which, you know, had everything really, 1 and 2 in the league, you know, classic sort of 4-pointer, local derby, white cards. It had a stunning finish for us, and 2 very committed, not only teams but sets of supporters gave it a fantastic atmosphere.
The twists and turns of this match are making it into the game of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the game here against Leicester was a very tough game. I mean, there was no, you know, easy points for either team, and I think probably 15-all would have been a fair reflection on the rugby played by both sides.
Not even a protest from Cockrell. Heather, he's got men outside, Matt Allen and Cockrell. Well, that's pretty blatant.
So in the absence of Grayson, it's Dawson to kick. He's done it well for England, of course, in recent times, and he's done it well for Northampton this afternoon. 3 points, and they've made a very impressive start in all aspects of their game.
We scored a try from about 70 metres out. You know, boring. Leicester occasionally aren't that boring.
Here's Stimpson.
The try that Craig Joyner scored and Leon Lloyd set up was probably one of my favourite tries of the year.
Stimpson going quickly and still going. Great strength from the full-back. He's one of his major assets, the power. Lovely floated pass from Howard. What a beautiful ball out to Lloyd. And Lloyd is ripping away here. He's got support from Joyner. Joyner has the speed of a winger, and he's just held short. Wriggles on, and the referee has given the score. But just look at this pass again from Howard.
Well, it was the strength of Stimpson, but then the vision, the brilliance of Pat Howard. That's a wonderful pass, cuts out 3 Saints defenders, and Lloyd strains his man beautifully, and then Joyner, plenty of pace. He's not held in the tackle, he's over. Fine try. This is brilliant, different to Stransky, but great pace off the mark. Wonderful step, and that's a sublime dummy. Leaves Lamb for dead. Wonderful footwork. All singing, all dancing play from Howard. Watch this dummy, the little show of the ball. Ah, yes.
It was possibly one of my favourite games of the year. It was definitely a crucial game. It was a wet and muddy day, and I think both sides really tried to express themselves. I unfortunately got 10 minutes in the bin for a decision which I at the time thought was very harsh, and reflecting on it thought to myself, referee, you were right. So I really enjoyed that game.
One more man and they would have been there, but it's still on. It's a penalty, and that is spoiling from Leicester. That is a professional foul.
That is 10 minutes.
And Leicester go down to 14 men. Maybe Howard wasn't the man, that's what's going through his mind. He's got the blame. Northampton could have had 7 points, they're going to have to settle with 3.
Well, I think Pat Howard is in fact the man. Test match player, had to make a decision. He's in the bin for 10 and he deserves it. I don't think there's any doubt at all. He saved 4 points for Leicester, now he's got to pay the price.
I think with a game of such importance and played at such an intensity, I think there's always going to be a bit of niggling, but you know, that's rugby football, and that's why you know we love to play the game. Yeah, it was in terms of the amount riding on it, they don't come much bigger than that game.
Good and the bad of rugby there. Brilliant rugby from Northampton. Leicester cynical, but they're furious.
And something else has happened in there which has really fired up Cockrell.
If there were boots, Richard Cockrell knows why. You can't excuse it, but Leicester, well, they were cynical there. Martin Johnson, number 4, the boot goes forward. There you see. It's a Northampton man this time, Metcalf lying around the wrong side. Now that is not rucking, but I also think that Metcalf is killing the ball, and I don't think that's dangerous play.
Seems to be pulling out Martin Johnson, and he is back in the sin bin. He can't get away from those cards.
It's boiling over, it's boiling over.
And then obviously myself and Pat were in the sin bin, and the game was winding down, getting very close, and we scored with a line-out move that I think when we practiced it on the Thursday before, we said no, we won't use that, it's not going to work. And obviously with 13 men we used it, and Martin Corrie scored.
And he's taken to Corrie for the corner. Absolutely incredible. What quick thinking. Leicester have scored, they're down to 13 men, and it's Martin Corrie with the strength of 13 who goes over in the corner.
Brilliant. Corrie at number 8, quick-witted, came from the front. His power carries over most of Northampton, and Cockrell going mad. He stood at scrum half. He came in early, it covered the 5 metres. Well, Dawson, get out the way. Over him in the corner. It's a try.
Stimpson likes it. Oh, what a kick!
Wow, what scenes here. Pendulum swung Northampton's way, and then Corrie, Leicester's man of the moment, strikes, and what a kick from Stimpson. And that means Northampton need 2 penalties or a try.
He's put everything into it. Oh!
It is nothing but drama now. That's a magnificent strike from Dawson. What a last 12 minutes we've got.
And off the ball, Leon Lloyd needs to be pulled away from Nick Beale, and vice versa. Well, the aggression is good to see, but not when it slows the game down and it all starts to spill over.
Oh, there's enough other guys getting involved without you doing the same thing, okay? Just cool it down, all right? We got 12 minutes to go. Take it easy. Scrum
Wise
here.
words from the referee. There's no need for that.
Johnson again working hard in the tackle.
Three.
Matty Stewart pulled out.
That's a punch. That's a punch.
Punch was thrown, and it's 10 minutes. Well, the tale keeps turning, and now it's Northampton's turn to suffer a man in the sin bin.
By the time we got back on the field, I think they had a guy in the sin bin, so we had one up in the forwards, and we had a scrimmage near the line, and we had them going backwards 2 or 3 times before they went down, and the ref gave a penalty, tried to win it. So it was a real big win. That gave us a bit of daylight between them and us.
They go again. It's a penalty try. They know it, and the rest of the country probably knows it too now. That Leicester are virtually unstoppable in their quest for the Premiership title.
But it could have gone either way. It was a very tight game. You know, there's a few referees' calls. It could have gone either way, but it's one of those games that maybe turn the Championship in our favour.
Stimpson to make it the full 7-point return. Northampton will get back up there, but this for them could be the last throw. Hard as Dorian West takes them through. He's even turned the right way for Hamilton. It's Johnson. There's a chance here, but it's stolen by Pat Lamb. All over. Leicester have won. A quite awesome second half. Power all the way. And it's Leicester who had most of it. They've won by 22 to 15. Is that the Premiership now?
Well, if it is, that's the man they should thank. Martin Corrie, wonderful second half again. He was my man of the match today. He won so much ball for them, carried around the park. Garforth, decisive in the scrummage. Martin Johnson, superb as a leader, but Corrie, well, what a man to have on an England bench.
You know, there's always something when it's that close, little incidents, you know, either for or against, that ultimately make the difference, and obviously the penalty try at the end was the killer as far as we were concerned, and very disappointing, because it did just give Leicester that extra 2-point buffer that you know, made the end of the season probably a little bit freer for them than we would have liked.
Leicester's next game, Saracens at Welford Road. Saracens themselves keen to maintain their challenge for a European place by finishing in the top 6.
Well, they were disappointing against Bath, and of course there are question marks. They've got such a strong squad. They've flattered to deceive, but Martin Johnson and the Tigers pack have not.
For Leicester, Europe is already in the bag. This is just about proving that they are the best team this season. The Premiership title awaits.
Confidence is the key now. He should feel good.
He's a big man and he can give it a whack. And that's what he's done. Leicester take the lead for the first time, courtesy of the boot of Tim Stimpson. Philby certainly needs treatment, but away go Leicester with Stewart, and he gets it out to Leon Lloyd. Needing support from Joyner, good hands at close quarters there. Moody too. Leicester moving, Hamilton. Saracens down to 14, here as Howard goes through the middle. Roundtree drives on, a metre short. They're almost there. Hamilton sees what's out wide, but it's Corrie to drive over for the first try. The power of Martin Corrie telling at the end of the move.
Three points, almost as good as 7, because it puts Leicester well clear.
Great sense of relief then here. And the referee brings it to an end. Leicester have won. They're almost there. It was a workmanlike performance to beat Saracen today. They had to fight really hard, and there were some tired legs out there at the end of a long season. But Leicester won't be denied at home. They continue this terrific record at Welford Road. They are all but champions. Leicester 25, Saracens 18.
And then the running as well, we had a lot of tough games. You had to beat the likes of Wasps and Saracens at home. And at the end of the season, when your boys were feeling a little bit fatigued, they were big wins. They weren't pretty games to watch, perhaps, but they were big wins for us. And then the 2 away games at the end, Sale and Newcastle. We perhaps only had to win one of them and try and beat Hartlepool at home to win the league.
Leicester at Newcastle. Quite simply, a Tigers win, and it's all over.
Victory, and the title will be officially theirs. And they will take it away from the North East and to the East Midlands. That's the added incentive today.
Yes, and Martin Johnson would love to win it here. It's a real test for them. No disrespect to West Hartlepool, but at Welford Road you feel they'll put them away. Leicester would love to win it somewhere like here, take Newcastle's home record.
Full house at Kingston Park. And certainly in recent weeks the home supporters have lifted Newcastle, but there's plenty of travelling support from Leicester today. Martin Johnson, having led his team out and led them right the way through a long, hard season, wants one more final push.
Yeah, Martin Johnson, there cannot be a more committed player in the Premiership. And if there is one, it's probably Gary Armstrong.
And for Newcastle, it's just a small matter of £500,000 plus. That's what's riding on their next 3 games. The cup final will be a great day out to look forward to for everybody concerned at the club. But next season, Europe will be a major focus. And that is where the big money will be.
And that is where the challenge is for the top players. So many outstanding Newcastle players. They want to be playing at the highest level. They want to be playing in Europe.
Good retention here from the home side. Until then. The advantage played. Howard goes round on the loop. Corrie had to think on his feet there. And Newcastle still will be very pleased with the start they've made.
Statement of intent from Newcastle. Wilkinson throwing the missed passes, and Tuigamala less subtle, more direct. Big collision with Martin Johnson. Could be a thrilling match.
Well, Newcastle are handing over their crown, but only with a fight today. Wilkinson, Tuigamala, rumbling on, and there's Armstrong. A real snipe from Gary Armstrong.
That was superb support play.
Stimson got himself wrapped up on the wrong side. He's been penalised. Showed no willingness to roll away. And of course he gets the boos from the ones that used to cheer him. And Johnny Wilkinson will go for goal. It didn't set off too well, but it corrected itself. Now Wilkinson will say it was always going through, not to worry. 3-3 the score. It's been a good start.
Newcastle deserve to be level. The two sides, they have started the more positively.
And this is going to be Leicester ball once more. It's Howard, Jelly, trying to straighten the attack and go through the middle. He's got his chance with Roundtree put on the bench today. It's switched to Corrie, and Leicester looking good here. It's Martin Corrie on from Lloyd. It needed one more accurate pass. It's juggled on to Moody, but it had gone forward. One that got away for Leicester.
Well, we saw the best of Leicester there. The blistering pace of Austin Healy on the blind side. That made this attack. And then that change of direction was brilliant from Pat Howard. Just forward. Great work from Howard and Healy there.
Stimson then, all the way, never in doubt. Lovely kick. Leicester back in front, courtesy of that man. So the ground holds no fears for this kid. And kicking certainly holds no fears for Tim Stimson today. He's enjoying it. The Leicester supporters are enjoying it. He's had a good first half, Armstrong, and he's still muscling on until Lockie got back.
Wonderful work from Gary Armstrong, so strong.
Archer. Walton goes over. There's Cocker's on the wrong side, and he's fighting back now with his boots, and this needs sorting out.
Well, Jelly was on the wrong side and he took a couple of uncompromising shoes. He didn't like it, he kicked back.
Martin Johnson told to calm it.
Well, it's Cockerell, in fact. He's on the wrong side and you can see boots going in on him first of all.
Yeah, but it's the captain's role to calm Cockerell down. That's the point I was making.
Not getting away from the ball. I agree. They came in. Twice I penalise your players for not getting away from the ball. Once up there, once there. When they go to ground, I want them away. I want them away from the ball completely.
Well, Martin Johnson will do well not to argue, otherwise that's another 10 metres and that's within range. A little wink from Cockerell. He doesn't mind firing up the crowd. Healy, done it again, you know. And he's rolled over with Beattie all over him to get that ball back. Joyner. Leicester looking good. Newcastle have to beware here. Through comes Wood, offside, penalty.
They're not looking good, they're looking very good. They smell something here, I tell you.
Well, they can smell the trophy.
Yep, that's it.
Or the polish on it. Stimson, it's metronomic. It's championship form. He can't stop smiling today, Tim Stimson, no wonder. Stimson again from here. And Leicester at last will be able to say that that title belongs to them.
And who is going to come up to take the kick? The man the Falcons didn't want.
It's Tim Stimson for Leicester. The flanks are up and the championship is surely theirs.
Well, Tim Stimson has had a superb game. So assured in everything he's done. 7 out of 7. And Newcastle, well, Europe now looks a long way away, but for Tim Stimson, 7 out of 7 with a performance that has been 10 out of 10. He has come back to Newcastle, he's made them eat their words, he's taken a home record. Stimson, man of the match for me.
Very little time left now. In fact, that is it. Leicester are the champions. They've won the Premiership. They have epitomised the team ethic. Togetherness is a word made for this club. And if you look at the champions in the professional age, Wasps and Newcastle themselves, now Leicester, they all have this spirit. Leicester have it as their main quality. It's been a long, hard season, disrupted by international calls and injuries, and only the toughest win titles these days, and Leicester are the toughest.
We've played very well at times, and at times when we haven't played well, which is going to happen in a 8.5-month season, we've still been able to win, which has been good. And the best thing for me is we've had a lot of injuries, especially in the back line, and we've had players come in and play, very, very well. At times we've had 2-3 centres injured. We had Joel injured for the end of the season, Austin suspended for the mid part of it. So guys have come in and played very well. And the guys in the forwards have been consistent. They've all played really well throughout the year, and a lot of them had to play test matches as well. So they've had that added strain, and they've always performed for the club. So everyone's played well. I've enjoyed it. We've all enjoyed playing with each other and had a great team spirit. So that's been the real bonus.
Fantastic spirit all season, great commitment today, embodied by that man, Martin Johnson. What a season for him. Great man management from Dean Richards, and even when they lost Stransky and Greenwood, they kept going. What a brilliant effort.
I think when we started the season last year, or before we started the season in pre-season, we sat down as a team and said that certain things had to be addressed and changed, and one of the major ones was the discipline that we had in the side, and other things were the team morale, the team spirit, the integrity that we played with, and the honesty as well. And I think they're all really interlinked at the end of the day with the discipline, and we address that discipline. It's sorted itself out. We've become a lot more honest as a side. We understand we play with and alongside the referees, and I think it's gone a huge way towards the consistency that we've got this year.
Richards, champion as a captain, now champion as the boss too.
And what a place for Leicester to win it, because Newcastle threw everything at them this afternoon. Nothing wrong with Newcastle's effort. If they don't make Europe, well, Europe will be missing a very strong team, but Leicester, it's their day. A brilliant effort from Johnson and his troops.
So with Leicester Allied Dunbar Premiership 1 champions, what about Division 2? On to Leicester's last game, at home to bottom of the table West Hartlepool. A chance to parade the Premiership trophy in front of their ecstatic supporters. But a match which was predictably something of an exhibition. The game was notable mainly for a hat-trick of tries by the prolific Neil Back, who ended the game as the leading try scorer in the Allied Dunbar Premiership. The second try was classic Leicester. Line out, maul, Neil Back scores. The third, however, showed Leicester at their free-flowing best, ending with a bit of back magic that arguably matched Martin Johnson's dummy against Richmond.
I think if you look at our season as a whole, there's been a fair spread of the tries throughout. I think Dave Lockheed coming in has bolstered our back division extremely well. I think Namdi Azaliki was a revelation earlier on until he got his groin injury. So I think in that respect, I mean, we've played a pretty all-round game, other than the periods whereby we've been missing quite a few people, in which case we've realised that for those periods you have to regroup, regather your senses and sit down and realise exactly where your strengths lie. And in those periods our strengths lay with the forwards, which is why we play to our strengths now.
People like to say, oh, we play it to the forwards, and at times this year we've had to win games. When we've had a lot of guys out in the back line, we've had to take it on up front. But those guys in the back line have won games for us as well early in the season. So yeah, we've got talent on the wings in Lloydie and Ezuliki and Dave Lockheed and Tim Stimson out wide, and Stuart Potter when he's fit, and Craig Joyne in the centre. So we've got talent in the backs, and we've got good forwards as well that can run with the ball as well as maul and scrummage. So I think we've got an all-round good team. But then every team you play, you don't play teams with weak backlines anymore or weak forwards. They've all got strength all round. So you've got to find the way to win the game on the day.
I'm certainly already looking to the start of next season. It's nice to have won the championship, but at the same time, there's a long pre-season, and we've got a hard task in front of us for next season. And with the structure of next season, with us losing our players during the pre-World Cup and during the World Cup, the amount of players we're going to lose, it's going to be a very tough time, and we're probably looking more to that than actually basking in the glory of having won the league championship.
The last two teams to win the league have sort of struggled the next year, haven't they? Wasps and Newcastle, and maybe it's a mental thing as much as anything, but next year the World Cup, we cover a few guys out. There could be a lot of guys out, so that could be difficult for us. Yeah, I think we've just got to concentrate on what won us the league this year, which was team spirit, good defence, and hard work. I mean, hard work's the key. Is everyone putting the work in, no one shirking it, and everyone playing for each other and not letting anyone down. So that's the keys to us. But there's not a big difference between maybe winning it and coming fourth, because 3 or 4 losses, close games that you win, that we won this year. If we'd lost them, we'd have been down there fighting for European place. So it's only a fine margin between winning and being in the middle. So we've got to maybe try and get ourselves playing better next year.
To understand the quality of the Premiership this season, you only need to look at the strength of the top 6 sides who have qualified for Europe, all of them arguably potential future champions.
The Allied Dumper Premiership, in my opinion, is the best domestic competition in the world. The quality of the players over here at the moment playing in the game, and of course our own homegrown players, provides what I call value for money entertainment week in, week out.
And the Allied Dunbar Premiership Player of the Year is Martin Johnson.
So, with Martin Johnson, the Player of the Season, Neil Back, the leading try scorer, plus the all-round talent of the team and the backroom staff, Leicester have certainly proved worthy champions.
Now they face the twin task of defending their Allied Dunbar Premiership title and tackling the best in Europe next season. Don't bet against them.